Hi, this is Z, and I'm back again with another video. I wanted to make a quick video about how infestations can be a sign of negative energy or demonic energy. So, what I mean by infestations is like a lot of roaches or mice or gnats and flies, where you probably didn't have that problem before. And if you're like, you're under spiritual attack, the energy becomes very dense and heavy, and it starts to draw insects and, rodents. So, um, the very first apartment I lived in, we lived in there for a few years, and we did not have any problem with any roaches or mice. And it was a large building with a lot of apartments in it. And it was very peaceful. And all of a sudden, when I became under spiritual attack, and I was aware that I was under spiritual attack, we started to see roaches coming into our apartment. I would see them like crawling on their way in the hallway, coming to our apartment. I would kill them if I saw them, of course. They started to come in through the outlets where we would, plug our lamp up or whatever. And I, I was not really a person like growing up. We didn't really have roaches, so that was something that kind of bothered me, and I just knew something wasn't right. Then we started to have mice, and I knew something was definitely wrong once we had mice. And the mice were just, it was, at first they were just coming out at night, and we had to be careful if we left, like, say, bananas on top of the refrigerator, because they'd get up there, eat the bananas or eat the mangoes or whatever. But over time, they started to just be running out during the day. And I'm like, oh my God, it's getting to be too crazy. What's going on? So I knew that a lot of that was from negative energy, and I had to, keep making sure I cleansed our place. And like, I would mop with ammonia or whatever, and make sure I open up the windows, get some fresh air in there and stuff. And after a while, the problem went away because I was doing some cleansing. Now, the only problem I've really had more recently is the gnats. And most people know that gnats are usually associated with monitoring spirits a lot of times. So usually if I start to see gnats, I know it's time to cleanse. Get out my ammonia or creolin, some fabuloso or whatever, open up the windows, cleanse. Um, I have seen, I don't know if you've ever watched that show um, that comes on. I don't know if you could say the title of these shows on here, but where people hoard a lot of items and stuff, and a lot of them have a lot of infestations, and you can tell that those people's homes are probably like that from a lot of negative energy. And I've even seen some episodes where people will complain and say, like, there's something in their house. They know that there's some type of demonic energy in their house. But moving on, I did not only see infestations in the physical, but in my dreams as well. That's another indication that it's someone is doing black magic or sending negative energy in your home. This would Something like this would be recurring for me. So even if I didn't have infestations in my home, I would know from dreams of infestations that there was a lot of negative energy. One dream of infestations I would have would be mice. It was always mice, and the more mice, the more negative energy it is. Usually if it was only one mouse or one rat in a dream, for me that would be symbolic of a person, a demonic person, a low vibrational person. But to see an infestation, to me, would indicate a lot of negative energy, and that I need to start cleansing myself and cleansing my home and my children and stuff like that. Um, I never really dreamt about like flies or gnats. It's usually just been mice as an infestation in my dream. Um, but I just want to say that sometimes if you start to have um, a lot of gnats and you can't get rid of them, especially they're not just located in your kitchen where your fruit is, like fruit flies or something, but they're in um, separate rooms, like especially if you live in a house and you have multiple floors, and the gnats are not only in your kitchen but they're all throughout the first floor and the second floor or something like that, then know for sure that there's a lot of negative energy and you need to do a cleansing. And if you have something to just kill them off, something to trap them, like you would trap fruit flies or flies or something, then trap them. But just make sure that you also do a cleansing, because those infestations, those large amounts of mice and roaches and uh, flies and such, can be a big indicator of negative energy and demonic activity. So do what all you can to, cleanse your house, get rid of any garbage, make sure you keep your dishes clean and things like that. Because a lot of times once you get like roaches or mice, they can be really hard to get rid of. Even if you're trying to cleanse the house and get rid of negative energy, you still have to actually take care of the problem of, filling up holes or whatever, of trapping them and getting them out of the house. But I noticed when I would do cleansing, I regularly, and get rid of whatever, they don't really come back if you tend to keep your house clean, unless you live in a building where there's a lot of them in your building. Then you still may not get a lot, because like I said, I lived in a building where people had roaches, but we didn't really get it until the vibration in our home started to change. So just make sure that, especially if you're going through a lot of spiritual warfare, try to not just clean your house, but cleanse your house. Use something that gets rid of negative energy. And you can use herbs. You can boil certain herbs like sage or hyssop. Google herbs that are good for cleansing out negative energy. You can use that. You can use, there's other things that you can use to, get rid of negative energy, just by like mopping your floors, and some nice incense. People seem to be afraid of sage because they think it draws in negative energy. I don't know. I've never had that problem. But if you are opening up and letting in fresh air, then it shouldn't be a problem. Don't just clean with whatever you are using to get rid of negative energy. Open up the windows and let in fresh air too at the same time, and cleanse regularly. Don't just do it once and think you're good for the whole year, because that energy is going to come right back. If someone's sending it to you, especially, is going to come right back in. So I just want to make this quick video. I hope this helps someone, and I'll be back again with another video. Bye.